All right, so how many 5-card hands dealt from a standard 52-card deck include 5 hearts? Everybody stop, shut your iPad, put the lid on it. I'm going to ask kids questions. I just want you focused on what's on the board here. Why is there a 13 in the front of this instead of 52? Okay. Yes, because we're talking about hearts. And 5 of them, 13 choose 5. Do you get how that one worked? Okay, good. The next one, 3 clubs and 2 diamonds. How many C's would I need to figure this out? 2. If I did 2 C's and multiplied it out here, I got 13, choose 3, and there's 13 diamonds, choose 2. What would I have put in here as one more thing that would have kind of been unnecessary? Yes, sir? 26. C0. It's not required, but it helps when you're doing the probability ones. This is not probability. Because why? Because it doesn't ask probability, and when we did the answer, we didn't do what? Divide by something. If we had divided by something, how many cards were we going to get here? 5, and therefore, what would the bottom have been? 52, choose 5. Good. All right, exactly 3 spades. 13, choose 3, times 39, choose 2. What the heck? This I get is my 3 spades. What in the heck is that? The rest of the deck, and I'm only getting 2 of them. And why don't I include more cards than 39? Because I don't want those other spades to come back. Okay, I only want to have not spades. And there's 39 not spade cards. All right, so if I say or, I'm going to give you a simple situation. I got 3 people, Bobby, Sue, and Cletus. And you're going to choose 2 of them to go and get themselves some new teeth. What is the probability that I will end up choosing either, no, I'm going to say it this way, at least one guy? All right. What's Cletus? Cletus is a guy, and Bobby's a guy, and Sue's not. Sue's a gal. Might not be able to tell from looking. Well, anyway, okay. So if we have Bobby, Sue, and Cletus, and I want to figure out the probability of choosing at least one guy, do you get that that means either one guy or both guys? I put the or right there in the middle of my thing, and then I say, what's the probability of choosing one guy? I need C's for this. How many guys are there? And I'm going to choose what? 1. And if I get one guy, then that means I must have gotten what? 1 girl. And that's 1, choose 1. That's my scenario where I got 1 guy and 1 girl. What's my other scenario? 2 guys and I get 2. Could I also multiply that by 1 girl, choose 0? Yes, but it doesn't really do anything because that's just 1. All right, so I'm not even going to do that. And or, do you remember from doing that before? What does or mean? Add them. So we'd figure out this one on the calculator and then add it to that one, but I bet you can do that one in your head. 2, choose 2. Only one way to do that. So this would be 1, and this would be 2, choose 1. I bet you could do that in their head. What's the answer? 2, and what's the answer to this? 2 times 1 is? 2 plus 1 is? So 3 on the top. Over, on the bottom, it's kind of like the bottom of the deck of cards, where it's got all of them. 3, possible, choose 2, exactly. Now on that one, you could use a calculator, but I want you to know how to do it. It'd be 3 factorial over 3 minus 2 is 1 factorial, and then an extra 2 factorial. And that makes basically 3 times 2 times 1 over 2 times 1. That makes 3. All right, so this one is, uh-oh, something's wrong there. I just did something wrong. Hold on. What is 3, choose 2? Somebody grab a calculator and see if I did that part wrong. Why is my answer coming out to 3 over 3? I actually know now, but I was freaked for a moment there. Is there 100% chance of this? How is that possible? Yes? If I'm going to choose two people, one of them's got to be a boy, because I only got one girl there. So even crazy problems will end up working right if you do it right. Okay, so this one would be 100% chance I'm going to get a guy, at least a guy. Because I have to, because if I'm bringing two of them, there has to be a guy. Yes?
On the bottom, why is it you're choosing two total?
I'm choosing two total, yep. And there were three to choose from. All right. So, one more and or kind of question. All right. I want to make this up. Bobby, Sue, Jim, and Cletus. And you're picking names for your kid. If you're going to give them a three-name name, you know, like Bobby, Sue, Jim, I want to know if you're going to pick three of these for the name of your kid. And the order doesn't matter, because you don't care if it's Jim, Bob, Cletus, or if it's Cletus, Jim, Bob. Then I want you to figure out for me how many different three-word combos you could choose from. Got to go back to the basics. What do you want? Or what ones would be possible? And if you can kind of think of them as a deck of cards, you can always think of the bottom one is always the bigger numbers. And I got four names, and I'm going to choose three of them. Get that? And on the top, what do I want? The question I asked you, was that even a probability? No, so we don't have a division to do we? So then it's just 4, choose 3, and what is it? 4. So there's 4 different combos. Are you sure it's 4? All right. So there's 4 different combos of 3 names. You're going to pick 3 out of the 4 names. Think of it this way. You can only leave out one name, right? And you can do that 4 different ways. So that makes sense. There's 4 ways. All right, so then let's say that you just had your heart set on Bobby, Sue, Cletus. Okay? Then tell me, what's the probability you're going to get the one you want? Remember, order doesn't matter. So apparently you'd be fine with Cletus, Sue, Bobby, or Sue, Cletus, Bobby. But you wanted those 3. You just really didn't want Jim in the name. Maybe you had a bad Jim experience in your life. And speaking of a bad Jim experience, do you know why the name for this famous rock group down south, Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know where that came from? Their gym teacher. They had long hair. They were kind of like, you know, troublemaking kids, and the gym teacher said, "You guys are never going to amount to nothing." So they named their band after him. And then Lynyrd Skynyrd became a huge hit. True. Google it sometime.
I think the gym teacher's really mad about that.
His son is still left, and he kind of has a good sense of humor about it, which is good, because you can either be bitter or you can just say, "Yeah, that was a pretty good joke." All right. So, how many are the one you want? Out of how many were possible? 24 were possible? 4 were possible. Remember, the order didn't matter. If the order mattered, it'd be way more. Then 1/4 is 0.25, so there's a 25% chance you're going to get what you wanted, which is Bobby, Sue, Cletus in any order. All right, these can be tricky. We'll have more about this on Monday. Remember, Monday and Tuesday are going to be kind of starting to review for the test. Test is Wednesday. Okay, I meant tomorrow. Tomorrow is more on this, and we do teach you another thing. But basically, we have a test Wednesday, and mostly between now and the test, we'll have more review. So if you're lost, come in the morning and get help if you're really lost. But if you're just a little bit lost, you still have time to figure it out between now and Wednesday.